Hey Defenders, welcome back to our channel. So today I'm going to be talking about a VPN versus ZTNA, right? What is VPN, right? VPN is popularly known as a traditional securing method, right? So let's briefly talk about VPN and briefly talk about ZTNA and why people are moving towards ZTNA, right? Especially enterprise organizations. Okay, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. Say for example, especially after COVID, we all have started using VPN because we didn't know more about VPN earlier. But after COVID, most of us started to work from home and hence VPN as a concept got really famous, right? Like Zoom, like Google Meet, people started to get comfortable using them. Likewise, this is exactly after COVID, VPN started to become very famous. Now, for example, say there is an application hosted inside your organization, right? Inside your organization, not on the cloud, inside your organization. So when you're inside this organization, inside the perimeter of this organization, you can directly put the IP address of the application and you're accessing the application. Very simple, right? Now, think of this. You are now at your home, but you put the same IP address, right, of the internal application, right? Will you be able to access it? No. That is because you are in a totally different network, which is an external public facing network. This network is the internal network within which you have an application hosted, right? So for you to connect and access this application, how do you do that, right? So what you have to do is there has to be a VPN server which is already situated as a part within this organization, right? Now from outside, right, from the public internet, you are connecting to this particular VPN server, authenticating yourself. Once you authenticate, what happens is you become a part of the internal network, right? You become a part of the internal network. When I say you become a part of the internal network, what happens is you are issued a private IP address like everyone else in the organization. There is absolutely no difference. It is almost like you are from outside, you are now sitting inside the organization, but you actually physically are sitting in your home, right? So that's called the VPN, Virtual Private Network. There are two popular types, site to site and site to client VPN. So site to site is like when a branch office is having another branch office wanting to communicate. The set of 100 members from here wants to message all the 100 members here and vice versa, and they want to access the application from here to here, vice versa, right? So in that case they use site to site VPN, right? Now what I said, from home I connect to the office, it's called the client to site VPN, right? Very simple. Now let us talk a little more about what is ZTNA, right? But before that, please understand there is a huge security issue here because you are actually in your home, you are in an airport, you are in a coffee shop, you are somewhere outside, but because you authenticated through the VPN server, you're right now sitting inside the office network, which means there's a huge security gap there because you're actually in an area where it could potentially have a malicious software or malware with which you are connecting the internal network, right? Which means it poses a big threat by having some ransomware as a part of your infection, and it could spread across all the systems within the intranet, right? Now, how do we prevent that? That is why there is something called the ZTNA that came into picture. What is ZTNA? ZTNA stands for Zero Trust Network Access. I repeat, it's called the Zero Trust Network Access. What is Zero Trust Network Access? Very simple. Basically, I blacklist all the access except for the access that I want, right? I repeat, I blacklist all the access except for the access I want. For that particular access, am I whitelisted? No. Then how do I access? So every time I need access to a particular resource, particular application, particular database, I have to authenticate myself against an identity provider. Identity provider can be your intranet, SSO, single sign-on, or an Active Directory, domain control, jump server. You can have it anywhere, right? But you have to authenticate yourself every time you want to establish a connection to a particular resource, right? So what happens here is, unlike VPN, where from outside you connect within the organization network, having now access to the complete network, you don't have like that in ZTNA. For ZTNA, it is almost very granular level that this application running on your system can only access that application which is authenticated and you are accessing, right? So you can go to such a granular level that a particular application only is given access after authentication to a particular resource, right? So you can't reach any systems on the network, you can't reach any systems on the intranet or anything of that sort, and hence it has become one of the most important aspects in cybersecurity today. And the most important thing here is a potential use case is bring your own devices, right? So companies today have started offering bring your own devices, BYOD, right? So what is BYOD? Organizations earlier used to issue laptops where you can work from home, right? So these laptops will have certain standards, policies in place where there are security policies put in place and systems are hardened. Okay, assume there are companies today that are allowing you to use your own personal laptop to do office work, right? In that cases, it is really important we understand ZTNA is a must, because in your personal machine, there are high chances those machines are not hardened, that machines don't have policies in place, that machines don't have the right permissions and role-based authentications in place, hence making a vulnerability larger, right? And hence ZTNA, right? So I hope you got a brief idea about what is VPN, what is ZTNA, and in case you have any questions around any of this, please feel free to drop in a comment on the section below. I'd be happy to give more explanation, share examples as well, right? In case you did like this, consider sharing and subscribing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more tech insights on cybersecurity.